You remember that feeling, don't you? The gold stars on your homework. The teachers nodding with that look of pure potential in their eyes. You were the kid who just got it without even trying. The one who finished the test 20 minutes early while everyone else was still sweating. Back then, gifted wasn't just a label. It was your entire identity. It was the armor you wore to feel safe in the world.
It won't
But
budge.
now,
I'm trapped in
decades
here.
later, that armor feels like a cage. You're not the smartest person in the room anymore. In fact, you're terrified of the room itself. You're paralyzed by the fear of being average. Welcome to the psychology of the former gifted child burnout. Today, we're looking at why being special as a kid can make being an adult feel like a constant, quiet disaster. Let's talk about the praise trap. When you were young, people didn't praise your effort. They praised your essence. They didn't say, "You worked hard on this." They said, "You are so smart." It sounds like a compliment, doesn't it? But psychologically, it was a setup for a lifelong struggle. Because if you are naturally smart, then success is who you are. And failure becomes an existential threat. This creates what psychologists call a fixed mindset. You start to believe that intelligence is a finite resource. You either have it or you don't. And the moment a task becomes genuinely difficult, your brain doesn't see a challenge to be solved. It sees a verdict on your worth. This is why so many gifted children grow up to be chronic procrastinators. You aren't lazy, you are terrified. You'd rather be an underachiever who didn't try than a failure who tried their best and still wasn't enough. As long as you don't try, you can keep the MYTH of your potential alive. You can tell yourself, "I could do it if I wanted to," but that lie is a heavy weight to carry. It keeps you frozen in the same place for years, watching others who were less talented than you move past you simply because they weren't afraid to look stupid. Then there's the crushing weight of perfectionism. For you, 99% isn't an A, it's a TOTAL failure. If it isn't perfect, it feels like it shouldn't exist at all. Psychologists call this maladaptive perfectionism. It's not about doing things well, it's about avoiding the shame of being seen as flawed. Because if you're flawed, you lose that special status. And without that status, who are you even supposed to be? This is the core of the gifted kid burnout, a state of TOTAL mental and emotional exhaustion. You've been running a sprint for 20 years, trying to maintain an image of effortless brilliance while the world got harder, but now you're just tired. You look around and see your peers hitting milestones, getting the promotions, the houses, the stability, while you're still overanalyzing why you haven't started that one big project. You feel like a failed prodigy. A bridge that was designed with grand blueprints, but was never actually finished. And that voice isn't just in your head. It's the echo of every other voice you've ever heard. The proud smile on your parents' faces when you were 10. The teachers who said you were going to change the world. You feel like you've broken a promise you never actually made. This is what we call an identity crisis. When your self-worth is based on what you can do, not who you are, the moment you struggle, you feel like an imposter, waiting for the moment everyone realizes you're just ordinary. And to you, being ordinary is the ultimate insult. While you relied on natural talent, others were building grit. They learned how to fail, how to start from zero, how to stay consistent. Things that never felt necessary because everything came easy. Now, the gap is closing. The ordinary kids now have the tools to survive life's friction. But you're like a high-performance race car with no tires, capable of greatness, but unable to move an inch on rough roads. You are grieving the child you used to be, grieving the bright future everyone promised you. It's a specific kind of sadness that has no funeral. So, how do you stop the cycle? How do you stop being a failed prodigy and start being a functional human being? It starts by letting that child rest. You have to let go of the special identity you've been clinging to. Because as long as you're chasing the ghost of your past, you'll never see who you actually are today. STOP, focusing on potential. Potential is just a polite word for things you haven't done yet. Potential doesn't pay bills, and it doesn't build a real-life start, focusing on repetition. Those ordinary kids you used to look down on, they have a superpower you don't. They aren't afraid to look stupid while they learn something new. You need to learn how to be bad at something. You need to learn how to be a beginner again. Being ordinary isn't a death sentence. Being ordinary is a healthy starting line. You are allowed to take that pressure off your shoulders. You don't have to change the world by the time you're 30. You just need to survive today. Well, when you separate your worth from your IQ score, something magical happens. You finally become free to actually try. To try without the fear of failure's verdict. You are not a falling star. You are a human being still under construction. And that is a much better status than just being gifted. If you're a former gifted child learning how to walk again, I'm proud of you. It takes so much more courage to be ordinary than it does to be special. Thank you for watching. If this felt personal, please subscribe and share your story below. We're all trying to find the way out together. I'll see you in the next deep dive.